Welcome to the Tap Room Exclusive. I'm Dean Zarbaugh. I'm down here at Saucy Brew Works in Cleveland, in Ohio City. I'm with Dan Jozwiak. We are enjoying a few different beers. We're onto the Habituale Kolsch, but a little bit about yourself first, Dan. You, how long have you been working for Saucy, first of all, and how did you get into beer?
It's always a good place to start, right? So I've been with Saucy for about 4 months. The brewery itself's only been open for about a year and a half. Mm-hmm. But I also worked with the brewery quite a bit on the distributor side. I was their brand manager at House of La Rose, who distributes our beer in the Cleveland area, and worked with the brewery for the first 5-6 months that we were in that distributor. And they just were, it recruited me over basically. So I've been here. Right. So I've been here for about 4 months, nice. Taking on the sales management role, working with some of the key accounts in the marketplace, and spreading some Saucy love out there.
Nice. So. And so you were Cicerone. What for people who don't know what that is? I've kind of compared it. It's like a sommelier of beer in a way. How would you describe it? And
and that's pretty accurate. It also kind of translates into being like somebody who wants to elevate the experience of beer.
Okay.
Somebody who wants to be able to elevate their own personal experience and then maybe even share some of that with other people and help them, appreciate beer for what it is. So
I've taken one class. Thought about getting the beer server.
Okay.
The first level. But you're actually an advanced Cicerone, which is pretty hard to get to. That's a lot of work. Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
Just that one class, I took an intensive like a workshop boot camp thing, and it's a lot of information, and that was just for level one. How long did it take you to get to that level, and how much studying and all that? What went into it?
So prior to working in the beer industry, I've been a home brewer for 10 plus years now, and just got into a lot of beer related things. The passion just keeps growing and growing. So I started getting into BJCP certification, which is beer judge certification, and went through the program with that, where you learn a bunch of off flavors, you learn a lot of styles, that kind of thing, and then you take a tasting exam. They certify you, become ranked judge based on experience points and things like that.
Gotcha.
As I started looking more into it, the food pairing side of the business of beer really started to appeal to me. So I found the Cicerone program kind of by accident, to be honest, just kind of searching the internet for things. Yeah. And took the first test after a couple months, started kind of looking into some of the books and the syllabus for the second level, and studied that for just off and on my own for about 2 years. Wow. And then for about 6 months or so leading up to the actual exam, I studied pretty hardcore into it.
You can only take it one time, is that right? Or
no.
Is it? Oh, you
can take it as many times as you need.
I couldn't remember if it was a one-time only thing.
But you have to take. There's a tasting portion and then a written portion, and you pass one. You can pass one and have to retake just the other.
Oh, okay.
That kind of thing.
It's intensive, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's a lot of work, and I'm sure it expanded your love of beer a lot. And just in the one class I took, it did for me exponentially.
Yeah, I mean, it almost becomes hard to turn it off sometimes.
Right?
You become a little over analytical when you just want to sit and have a a beer with some friends. Right. Sometimes.
You're like, there's too many bubbles on this glass.
Right. This is not clean.
This is not a beer clean glass. No, I know exactly. But it's kind of the fun of this industry is like you dive in head first and like you just go in and you're in. Once you're in, you're in. It seems like it really grabs you. And
yep. If you don't have passion for the beer and the industry in general, I mean, might as well not even try.
Right, exactly.
Find something else to do. It's a very passion-driven industry.
It really is. More so than I feel in a lot of stuff that people feel would really be like a passion-driven industry. Let's get into a little bit of this Kolsch that you guys do, the Habituale. This is a year-round availability for you guys. It is in cans. You guys can get that wherever Saucy Brew is on the shelves. Talk to the people a little bit about the profile of this beer, and why did you guys decide to kind of do a Kolsch as one of your styles?
Yeah, so I mean, Kolsch beers in general are pretty difficult to make clean and well and consistent. And a brewer really is judged by the cleanest, lightest beer they make, right?
Yeah.
They're always the most difficult because there's no curtains to hide behind, or no way. It's just a clean, crisp beer, or it's not.
Right.
Also the kind of a gap in the marketplace, right? There's not a lot of Kolsch's out there, and people want those light, crisp beers. I mean, Bud Light's still 30% of the beer market for a reason, you know?
Right.
That's what people want. But if you give them a good alternative that's, not that, and they want to drink that, then, that's where we fit in,
And that's what I like is this style is, it's a nice gateway beer into craft. It gives people who may be a little more prone to macro, like you're saying, a nice beer profile that they're used to that isn't, a lot of times there's this, image with craft beer of like, going way out, overboard with some of the styles and stuff like that. And it's not always like that. There's these offerings that are nice, like you said, clean, crisp beers that can bring people in and say, hey, look, this is like what I've been drinking, but more flavorful.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And this is a perfect one for that. I really like this this beer. What are some of the notes people can get when they drink this?
So, I mean, it is a very crisp, clean, dry beer. Very light, like a lager. Not a lot of yeast character driven from this. It is fermented a little bit cooler than a normal ale, so it brings down any kind of esters from a yeast down to almost nothing. So you could put this next to like a nice full, like all malt lager, and it'd be hard to tell the difference, or even like a nice trained palate,
Yeah.
But it's Mandarina Bavarian hops. So there's light citrus note to it, nice light herbal note to it, just like some of the traditional German noble hops. So it just gives it a nice, clean, very light citrusy note, slightly spicy, light graininess to it from the malt that we use. So
it's a nice, easy drinker. I like this style. It's a style I never really knew about until I got into craft beer. And once I got in, there's a couple places that do one that aren't mass distributed, and it's a style I've really gravitated towards. It's just a nice offering for somebody who's not looking to get too not drunk, but just too, they can have one after work and not feel like they're going overboard.
Right. Yeah, I have one with a meal, and it's not going to overpower your food, and it's just a nice easy beverage.
What would you say would be something to, if you wanted to eat with this? What would you pair with this?
That's a good question. I mean, German beers in general, you want to go towards like a sausage, right?
Right, absolutely.
And that sausages like a bratwurst would always be a good option. Chicken wings, like hot wings, a pilsner and hot wings are like a match made in heaven as far as I'm concerned. And I think that it just helps tone down that spiciness. And
everybody says IPA. I say like something like this a little bit better for me, in my opinion.
IPA is just always, they accentuate that heat.
I feel
and it's just not. I'd rather have something that helps cleanse the palate,
right?
So that's my preference.
That's the same thing with me. I feel I just had the your guys' pulled pork sandwich. I don't eat Brussels sprouts, so you guys have, it's like a Brussels sprout slaw that you guys put on it. It's fantastic. It is one of the best pulled pork sandwiches I've had. This is I had actually had the Habituale with that, and that is a fantastic pairing too, in my opinion.
Anything, sandwiches like the breading and things like that is going to be a really nice light option. Yeah.
And so you guys, Saucy started in 2017. A lot of breweries started in 2017. You guys came in. What was the capacity when you guys first started? Like somewhere like 900 barrels, somewhere in there. I think somewhere in there for the first year.
What we actually sold?
Yeah.
Maybe
somewhere
close to that range.
And then, you guys just announced this year that you're expanding distribution to all of Ohio with your keg offerings, draft offerings. That's huge for a place that's just been open a little over a year.
Yep.
Congratulations, first of all. And
thanks.
What do you attribute the success to this quick of a success to?
When coming into the beer game, the brewery is built for speed and delivering product out in the marketplace. We didn't put all this stainless steel into the building to serve just people at the bar. There's always the vision of getting out into the market and having our beer on the shelves and on draft lines. We just started sending our cans to the rest of the state too. So they're
nice.
Columbus, Cincinnati. They're everywhere down there.
Oh, nice.
So.
That's awesome. I didn't see anything about that. The cans yet. So that's awesome.
That was about a month ago, a little over a month ago.
Awesome. That's and I really enjoy your cans stick out on the shelf. It's really cool.
Yeah. So the artist that does our work actually just lives here in Ohio City.
Oh, nice.
His name's Oliver Barrett. He's not necessarily well known in the Cleveland area, but he's done a lot of national posters. He's done like some Star Wars movie posters and some ESPN posters and concert posters, things like that.
Wow.
The dude is very talented.
And you guys came into the neighborhood. Did like the brewers know him already, or did you just kind of show up and like, hey, I want to help out a local place?
I'll be honest, I don't really know how the conversation got started with those guys.
Well, it's worked out very well for you guys.
He's got a distinct style, and they stand
very
out.
Distinct style, absolutely. So. That's the one thing is that you always know when a place carries Saucy Brew because they stick right out on a shelf. Where did the name Saucy Brew come from?
So it's kind of a silly kind of non-story, really, but it's the origination has to happen somewhere, right? But when the brewery is being built, our brewmaster co-owner Eric and his wife were at home having some drinks and getting a little saucy, and she said something to him. He didn't quite hear what she said, and he's like, "Did you just say saucy?" And she's like, "No, I didn't say that at all." And he's like, "That's what it is. That's the name of our brewery. That's what it's going to be," and has run with it. And the logo even has become pretty distinct.
It is.
It's our Nike swoosh. People you can recognize it from
absolutely. You spot it across anywhere. That's a really cool story. And it sticks out too. You type in Saucy into Google, and you got it's boom. It pretty much automatically knows what you want. Like Brewworks. That's the it auto completes very quickly.
Yep. Search engines. Right?
Yeah. No. It's really cool. And so, how many? We're here up in the upper level. You have kind of like a 2-level. It's like a little mezzanine type area up here. It's got some lounge chairs and some couches and stuff. How many people can you actually fit in here?
In the brew pub itself?
Yeah.
I think it is like around 300.
Okay.
I don't know if the actual capacity.
And then like roughly, 100 or so up here?
Yeah.
200 down, give or take?
Yep, right around there. When the patio's open, it's nice out there. The garage door's up.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've still got to wait quite a while.
We are
depending on the
Cleveland.
day. Depending on the day, though, wait 20 minutes, and it's really nice. You get to overlook the tanks and everything when you're in here. You don't get just the smell of the food, but you get the smell of the beer. It really just makes you feel like you're a part of it when you're sitting here, enjoying a beer.
Absolutely.
So, anything about the Habituale that I have forgotten to cover?
So, Kolsch is an interesting style too, right? So it's kind of a hybrid style where it is an ale technically, but just fermented cooler.
Right. So is that so? It's a ale yeast. Is that right?
Correct.
And then but it's fermented like a lager.
It's kind of in the middle there. Like
Okay, gotcha.
The fermentation temperature is lower than most ale yeast, but a little higher than most lager
Gotcha.
yeast.
Okay.
Yeah, but so it gives it a very clean flavor. But it's also, and is a little known thing, I like to spread the history of styles with all my beer geek studies. But a Kolsch is actually an appellation name. So like champagne.
Okay.
In France, where you can only use the name if it's grown,
Right.
like
I've
made in
made
that region.
yeah.
Right. So Kolsch in the Rhine Valley region of in Cologne, Germany, they have it as an official appellation. So, our brewmaster studied over in Germany and honors a lot of those appellations. So, like on our cans, it says Kolsch style golden ale. So we don't use the word that it's just a straight Kolsch because we're not brewing it in that region of the world. Right. So we like to honor those traditional values of what the beer is. So.
And that's great. And that's, it seems like that's like a really core value to this place. Clean beer and living up to the styles and the true history of what beer is.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really what gravitates people towards you guys. You guys got a really cool operation here. Really enjoy your beer. Anything else you want to get out before we head out?
No, I appreciate the time.
I appreciate you, Dan. Tune in next week as we cover another beer here at Saucy Brew.